Hi everybody and welcome back to Projectotron, the prediction site with a difference. There's only 4 games left in the World Cup. We've reached the semi-final stage and we know who the 4 teams fighting out for a place in the final will be. Our first look is going to be at Brazil and Germany. Rory, what can you tell us?
I think this game is, I've said it so many times, that Brazil are going out.
Yeah.
Brazil are definitely going out here. There's no other way to look at it. They have to. They just. I mean, it's their World Cup. They're the hosts. They've just been eking out the results. They've been getting a lot of calls their way as well. That's what you expect. And they've overturned 2 really good teams at this stage now. So you have to say they are serious competitors. But now they're up against a really, really serious team. The Germans are no fools. They've been doing their exceptionally Germanic thing of just getting to the semi-finals of a major competition again, and they've been doing it quite efficiently. You know, they all they needed to do against France was really perform for 25 minutes offensively, get the goal they need, and then they were able to. Whether they had the flu or not, I don't know. That was the rumour going before the match, but they really didn't get out of first gear after that, and the French just couldn't break them down. And maybe the French deserved to actually get a goal there, but they never really threatened Neuer either. It was actually the deepest I'd seen Germany all competition, and for a long time. But the thing that stood out was it was what they needed to do to actually get the result. Yeah, and that was the first time I think we've seen that in this competition. The Germans are just doing what they needed to do for over 90 minutes.
Just being efficient enough.
Exactly. And and so now if that's really clicked with them, I can't see Brazil breaking them down. Brazil, who are without Neymar now, because Neymar's out for the entire competition, even if Brazil get to the final. Yeah. There was some crazy talk about maybe nursing him back to health for the final. Playing with a broken back is not a good idea, and Projectotron does not endorse that sort of behaviour whatsoever. Thiago Silva is definitely out, albeit with a suspension. Thankfully not an injury. But he is the Brazilian captain. He scored against Colombia. He has by far and away the most clearances of any defender left in the competition. He's a really talismanic figure, and that's going to be a big loss too. I don't know. I think David Luiz will probably take over captaincy in his stead. But
more than likely, yeah.
But I don't see him having the cool, organised, composed head to take Brazil past this German squad who've been...
Really? You don't think David Luiz is going to be cool and organised?
No matter how many free kicks he takes.
Big shout from Rory.
Yeah. So for that reason, I'm going to say that Germany are going to progress to the World Cup final here. This match, I think, it will be quite close again. I see the Germans doing a repeat of what they did to France on Friday. I see them getting an early goal, and I see them sticking with it. I'd love to see Miroslav Klose get it, but that's unlikely. Interestingly enough, Thomas Muller has been playing really, really well in this competition. If you look at the statistics, he has as many goals as Neymar. He's got more assists. He's been stripped of the ball less. He's given away fewer fouls. He has a much better pass success rate. He's actually been terrific, quietly terrific at this World Cup. So if anyone's going to get the goal, it'll probably be him. I'd love it to be closer. But either way, I'm saying Germany are going to win this one, 1-0.
1-0, okay. I think everything you said is true. What was interesting, we spoke in the France-Germany preview video about how we think that Germany had some shortcomings still in their squad selection and in their tactical layout, in that they needed to move Lamb back to fullback and that their midfield wasn't physically strong enough to dominate games. And so, sure enough, in the France game, they moved Lamb back to fullback. They brought in Sami Khedira, started him, and they started with a really, really tough central midfield pairing then of Khedira as the base and then Schweinsteiger as a deep-lying playmaker. It gave them the cover in front of that sometimes dodgy back four that they'd been missing, and it released a lot of the pressure on Muller coming deep to get balls. What's been particularly interesting then about Brazil is that without Neymar, they have no attacking outlet. That's it. I mean, their entire game plan, whenever they've been up against it, is give the ball to Neymar, pray, and that's obviously not an option now. So where do Brazil go from here? I think that definitely Scolari is going to have them hugely excited about this game, hugely G'd up. The atmosphere in the country, the atmosphere in the stadium is going to be absolutely incredible, and I think that Brazil are going to come herring out of the blocks. But if Germany show up in the same formation, or even roughly the same formation, it's unlikely Klose starts as you said earlier on. But if Klose doesn't start, that's fine, because they'll probably just play Muller up top and bring Götze back into the starting lineup, and that's hardly a bad substitution to make. I think that on the assumption that Brazil come out pretty electrically and throw everything at the Germans, they'll probably do it for the first kind of 20 minutes, half an hour, as they've done in a couple of games previously. On the assumption that they don't score in that first 30 minutes, which I don't think they will, particularly missing Neymar. Well, barring maybe a favourable refereeing decision that gives them an offside goal or a penalty or something. I agree with you. I think Germany are going to comfortably just walk through most of this game. And I'm tempted, with Thiago Silva missing, I'm tempted to say that Germany might actually get 2 goals in this. I agree with you. I don't think Brazil score. I think Neymar is that important and that fundamental to this Brazilian attack that I'm not certain that without a bit of luck that they know how to score without Neymar.
Well, Brazil really, really needs somebody to step up in this game.
Yeah, but it's all well and good suggesting someone steps up, but who's there?
Exactly. I mean, Oscar maybe, he's been a very reliable player for Brazil in this World Cup, but he hasn't been at the level of Neymar yet either.
And it's different saying Oscar has been a very reliable player and he's been passing well and he's been dribbling well, but at the end of the day, someone needs to stick the ball in the net. And if Oscar's options are play it to Fred or maybe Joe or maybe William or maybe Hernandez, none of these players are the prolific goal scorers who you want on the end of an Oscar through ball.
Exactly. There's a lot of call on Brazil to actually start Willian for this game, but he's pulled up with an injury today in training, so even that's doubtful. So their options are even more, more sparse.
Well, I think all of this points towards Brazil. This is the end of the road. I mean, they haven't been beaten on Brazilian soil since I think 1975.
About that.
So we're probably looking at, for the first time in 40 years, a Brazilian defeat in Brazil. I think Germany are going to do it 2-0.
Yeah, maybe even Brazil's best hope would be to get to penalties, but I don't know.
What about Projectotron?
Projectotron reckons that Brazil's best hope is to go to penalties as well, but it also Projectotron has also condemned Brazil to being knocked out of the World Cup at this stage because they're up against Germany in a penalty shootout. There's no shame. There's no shame in that. Although the penalty shootout did end 3-2 after 5 penalties apiece, but it was Germany who went first, and needing to equalise, Dani Alves hilariously skies a penalty far and to the right out of the stadium. I think he was aiming for Ireland actually, because it was, I know it's terrible. Just watch the replay.
Regular Dani Alves watchers will be familiar with his absolute delight in blasting a ball 40 yards high and wide of the goal.
Yeah.
And there you go. Brazil out.
Brazil out. 1, 2, 3. All of us. Brazil out.
There you go, folks. We've a clean sweep on Germany progressing to the final at Brazil's expense. Projectotron is saying they'll need penalties to do it after a 0-0 draw. Rory's going with a 1-0 win, and I'm going with a 2-0 win for Germany. Don't forget to join us tomorrow, where we'll be focusing on Argentina against the Netherlands in the second semi-final, and come back for the third 4th place game and the final. We look forward to seeing you then. Enjoy the football.